Check, check, mic check. How's everybody doing tonight? We have the Rising Texan podcast taking off on a weekend to bring you an exclusive interview with the Democratic nominee for Maverick County Judge, Ramsey English Cantu. Now, we were promised that we would get an exclusive interview. We would be the first to be able to provide the public, the county, the city of Eagle Pass, the first interview of the Democratic nominee, Ramsey English Cantu. And that's what we're here for. That's what we're bringing back for you guys, making sure we stick to what we say. And we wanted to bring you Ramsey English Cantu, or whoever the winner would have been for the Maverick County Democratic nominee for county judge. As you know, the way that the outcome of the election for county judge is what we're speaking about. The final vote tally, guys, was 5,737 votes for Ramsey English Cantu and 3,668 for Saucedo, the incumbent. Respectively, that was 61% Cantu, 31%, 39% Saucedo. So it was kind of a one-sided affair, and I think that everybody can agree that whenever we heard the results coming out for the early vote, that was a strong indication that Ramsey English Cantu would be coming out in the end. So strong of a indication that we had fireworks shooting out. If those of you that caught the vote, the voting results live on our podcast, whenever we were out there, you saw the celebration that went down. This was somewhat anticipated from many constituents out there in Maverick County. It was, I had never seen that myself. Whenever a candidate comes out with some nice fireworks after being elected, but that just goes to say that there was a lot of thought given, and they were confident coming out of that camp. Let's call it what it is. And I think that many of our citizens can also an idea that the election may go this way. There was just too many rumblings and grumblings out there of our of still the current judge and all that. So that's where that went through. Now we have a Democratic nominee. For many of you, those out there that are not familiar with the process or what is going to happen. So the Democratic and the Republican primaries. Now that is what we went through right now, and that is what that voting was for. Now, what the primary is for is to get the favorite of each, the highest vote getter or the favorite of each parties are now going to be, they've come to the top. All the Republicans that won their position out of all the Republicans, they're going to move up and take that position when it comes to the general election in November. Again, Democrats, which we may get easily confused because Eagle Pass, is a predominantly Democratic town. We've seen this many times. It is starting to tilt the other way. Slowly, it's progressing. But if you take a look at it, many people decide to vote on the Democratic primaries rather than the Republican primaries. Now, there is no problem with that. You are free to choose what your affiliation is, correct? But whenever we do, like right now that Saucedo, Ramsey English Cantu, they ran, the winner of that will be taking on the winner of the Republicans. There was no other race in the Republican other than the actual Republican signing in for that position. So automatically that moves a Republican into the general election. And now that Ramsey English Cantu won the Democratic nominee, against Saucedo, he is the one who progresses and moves on to face the Republican, which is Armando Rosales. He'll be facing him come November in the primary. So the election is not really over. I know a lot of people have been saying that, oh, we have a new Maverick County judge, and to some extent that may be true, but at the moment it's a Democratic nominee for Maverick County Judge, and that is what Ramsey English Cantu is currently. Now there still is a whole another election, and those are some of the things that we want to discuss with Mr. Cantu. I know we had set off that hopefully we'd be able to have an exclusive first interview, be the first news media source out there post election to sit down with Mr. Cantu and talk a little bit about the race, talk about how he felt the results. I know the when the results were read out loud, the early voting results, there was a lot of emotion, there was a lot of feeling, there was a lot of people there, cheering on the crowd as you can hear chants of "chop that tree, chop that tree." You can hear chants in Spanish about the Maverick County Judge, the new Maverick County Judge Ramsey English Cantu. So there was a lot of excitement if you guys were able to tune in for that live when we had the results show. And the thing is that now we're moving on to the next step. It may be a little quiet. That's what we're going to ask Mr. Cantu, how, what's his next plan? Of course, there's got to be a little break in between, but November will come right away, right around the corner. So we want to know what kind of preparations he's making, what kind of adjustments, what kind of battle he thinks that he's going to be facing come November, because that is the election that is going to crown who is going to decide who is the Maverick County Judge. We have several other races as well that are going to go into contention with Republicans. We got not only the county judge, we have a district clerk, Mr. Oh, excuse me, guys. Mr. Polo Villalma. He ran uncontested for the Democratic primary, but he will be facing a Republican come in November. We also have the Democratic County Treasurer, Rito Valdez, who was the uncontested in this election, the Democratic primaries, but he will be facing a Republican that wants that county treasurer spot. Also, the county commissioner precinct 2, we also have a Republican in that race, Jose Rodriguez, that will be running against Roxy Rios. We got county commissioner precinct 4, Roberto Ruiz, skimming by Luis Cifuentes. Roberto Ruiz is also going to face a Republican, Alma Solis, come this November in the general election. We have Justice of the Peace, Kina Mancha. She ran unopposed, but she does have a Republican candidate that will be challenging her come election time in November. We actually have a runoff for Justice of the Peace Precinct 2, which will include Ernie Leija and Dora Madera. The lowest vote getter there, Leroy Uresti, drops off from the runoff, and it would be the top two candidates putting together Ernie Leija and Dora Madera. We have not received word as to what would be the dates of those runoff dates, but as soon as we get in touch and get those dates set, we will be letting the community know. And we also will be trying to interview those two people that will be in a runoff, Ms. Dora Madera and Ernie Leija. I know Mr. Leija did agree to come on the show eventually, so we were going to try to get him before this runoff happens. And then we got Justice of the Peace Precinct 3, Place 1. Domingo Mingo Rodriguez, 1,415 votes for 59%. He will be facing a Republican candidate come November in the election, general election. Justice of the Peace Precinct 4, Tere Hernandez. I believe she will be also facing a candidate come general election in November. So you guys, we still have plenty of these elected positions up for grabs because we just secured right now. This election was pretty much securing the Democratic nominees. The Democratic nominees will be moving on to face the Republican nominees come November time, guys. So elections are not over. This is just one of the steps to getting a new or continuing in some cases elected official in their spots. So there's a lot of still a lot of election to be had, a lot of election to be run. There's a lot of time for you guys to research and make sure you have the right Republican, make sure you have the right Democrat chosen for the position of your choice. One thing I want to ask you guys real quick, we are waiting for Ramsey English Cantu to jump on our live. He'll be joining us very shortly. But let's take a quick break, guys. If you guys can share this video for me, I'd really appreciate it. And a real quick word from our sponsors, Viva Canine Dog Training, Grooming, and Boarding Center. Phone number is 830-513-3523. If you're interested in grooming and any kind of trimming for your furry little buddy, having them hold up for the night there, if you're going out of town, anything, go ahead and give Viva Canine Dog Training, Grooming, and Boarding Center a call. They can take care of all your furry buddies' needs there. Again, the phone number is 830-513-3523, guys. That was a word from our sponsor, Viva K9. Guys, again, we're just waiting real quick until Ramsey English Cantu pops up in our live feed, in our backstage. That way we can go ahead and get our show started. Let's look at some of the comments, what some of y'all are saying while we wait. Saludos. Guys, I appreciate you all joining in tonight. Mr. Banda, it's always great whenever you guys can pop in, especially on a Friday night. What's everybody doing on a Friday night tonight in Eagle Pass? Y'all hit up the comments. Let us know what you're going to be doing tonight while we wait for Ramsey to jump on. Ooh, excuse me, guys. Oh, wait a minute. We have a error on my end, guys. We haven't sent. It would be good to send a link to Mr. Cantu, right? We might want him to join that way. Let's go ahead and take care of this real quick. Send him a link so he can hop right on. But what are y'all's plans for the weekend? Let us know what y'all are. We're doing great, guys. We appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Chilling, bro. Nowhere to go in Eagle Pass. Thank you. We appreciate you stopping by, watching our program. Again, we're bringing Ramsey English Cantu will be popping up anytime. I just we forgot to send him the link actually. I'm doing good, Mr. Martinez. Thank you very much. Tony Castañeda get fired. That would be a good thing to look into. That was a very long time ago. All right. All right, guys. We're about to be joined. There you go. Mr. Banda getting ready for the November elections. It was an interesting one this past week, huh, Mr. Banda? Let's see. We have Mr. Cantu trying to log in, guys. So be patient with us. Another cool fact about the elections is that we were able to see something that we haven't seen in a very long time, which is the number of total votes that were able to come in for the Maverick County elections. So that was something to. All right, guys. Well, we have Mr. Cantu backstage waiting for us to bring him on, so we won't keep him waiting. I introduce you, Ramsey English Cantu, back as promised for an exclusive with us. Now, the Democratic nominee for Maverick County Judge. How you doing
How's
today?
everybody doing?
Good, good. You look all smiles today compared to the last podcast we
Well,
had.
I look. I can't tell you that I have been fully rested, but that's for sure. It's not the case. I've been having some trouble already with my voice since
Mm.
election night. It's come and gone. I think with the excitement and with the numerous interviews, radio interviews, and things of that nature that we've had to accomplish since then. But more than anything, it's an exciting time. I think for the Democratic Party, for the Democratic primary, for what is to come in November, and for the change that I think that
Okay. I think we had our first incident of freezing. So Ramsey's no rookie to our show, so we'll wait for him to log back on. Guys, sometimes we have technical difficulties. You can never tell with the Wi-Fi services, cellular services, and stuff. So thank you for being patient. We should be seeing. There you go.
all right,
You got us. You
perfect.
can hear us.
I can hear you now perfectly.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess elaborating a little bit more what you were going on, Ramsey, is that it was. How do you feel about what the turnout was for the voter count overall? Not necessarily who they voted for, but it was a rather large turnout compared to years before. Is that correct?
Definitely. I think that, we definitely saw what was an interest in this race. We definitely saw what was an interest in this election. The overall, as we look at it and as we look towards the nearly 9,000 plus, that kind of came out in this race, shows an indication that within a primary, those are really good numbers. And it's something that definitely brings in interest from the community to make sure that leadership is elected and that is qualified and that is capable and that is ready to serve in a capacity and challenge a capacity in the upcoming months. So I'm extremely grateful and thankful to the numerous people that came out and voted in this race. Um, Specifically, I'm honored, to as we go back and we look at all of the races and all the countywide races. I'm honored, to review that and see, that we were the top vote getter in all of the county races, which is something to definitely be extremely thankful for to the voters of this community because they went out in drives, obviously, to change the direction of the county. And this is something that we need to do all that we can, to keep that momentum going into the next 37 weeks that are left to go on to November 8th.
No, and one of the things I mean that played out in this storyline coming up to election was the separation of, if you want to say, the Avengers against the other side, the Marvel. It was a separation of two different, um, I guess if you want to call political groups, so to speak. And all the ticket that was supporting you, that you were supporting, that you were endorsing, all of you guys won, straight up and down the ticket. Totally took it. There was no one that was listed running against or running with, rather, Saucedo, that actually won. You guys actually, what they say, a clean sweep of their candidates out there. How did that make you feel?
Well, as a candidate for judge, we're held to higher standards. One, we can't endorse, and so we obviously make that very clear. But we do, we're blessed to have the support of great people and great candidates. Of which all of those people who were supporting our candidacy for county judge won their races. And I think that this is something that is crucial because, they are good people that had the interest at heart of Maverick County. And I am, grateful to have had their support. I am grateful to have seen that people came out in drives and voted for them as they voted for me. And we just need to make sure that we continue to have that same passion in the next race. I think that this is definitely something that has been historic more than anything in this time frame, because I don't think that we have ever had to deal with an election that has been so negative, that has been such a challenge. When you're dealing with people who are in office for so many years and that have so many political ties and connections, and to upset a sitting incumbent who's been in office for well over 12 years, has been part of an administration for over 30, it tells you that people are ready for change. And I am, grateful that, we were given that opportunity. I am grateful and I am hopeful, that in the next races that are to come, everyone will remain committed and work just as hard as we did in these Democratic primaries. That is my intention. I plan on running my election for the next race, as if I were running against David once again. And this is just one of those things that, we need to never, give up. These are things that are important. They are important to me. And I take every one of my opponents that I've had in all my lifetimes very seriously, in order to make sure that we give it our all and we give the people of this community a valid justification of what our qualities are, what our qualifications, I should say, are, and how best we can serve this community that we love so much.
One of the things that we were able to interview you as soon as they announced, and we got a chance to interview you about. You mentioned something about the news media and how certain members of the news media just didn't. I guess they didn't want to join or give you an opportunity to come out on their publications, come out or have any advertisement there. How was that something to overcome in your campaign? Was it a difficult thing? Was it something that put you at a disadvantage, not having the typical dominant news media here locally?
Well, I'm grateful, to media sources like you, like Mario Martinez from the Galeria. The Newsgram was, exceptional. They worked really well with us. The Eagle Pass Business Journal, they, worked with us in getting that. Unfortunately, some of the others, I think, were either, I'm not gonna say scared. I'm gonna say they were just committed, for some reason. And that's fine. I totally understand that if that's the case. But in races like these, media sources should remain in a way that is professional and provides an opportunity to have dialogue, because y'all have a responsibility to provide the information to the residents of this community, and the community members in turn make their decisions based off the information that y'all are providing. And unfortunately, these are things that we have not seen in Eagle Pass. I believe that we need to work on getting, our media to a level where we can assure abilities of journalistic, you know, professionalism, and not being bought out. You know, those are unfortunate times for Eagle Pass. And I'll be very honest. Whenever we see, I go back to the days, back then when Armando Gutierrez was on. Armando Gutierrez had his candidates, and we always knew who his candidates were, but he never put himself in a position to where he would not let somebody else come on the show, you know,
Mhm.
or talk about things. It was a paid political advertisement. Everybody had the free ability to go out and discuss issues. And those were the things that right now I think that our community lacks in numbers of media sources. But I believe that, there are definitely ways for us to get past, that, and to come up with ways. I for many years I worked with, a lot of the media. I continue to work with the media, and I always will work with the media, despite whether they supported me or not. Um, but I do believe that we need to be careful with how, or not we, the media should be careful with how they they one side themselves to certain things. And I think that it's issues that we see. Obviously, we know that El Latino was completely purchased. They were bought out, long before my election was even on. The news leader, I think, another example, prime example of how they allowed themselves to even put forth, fake journalistic articles that were written to defame me and do all kinds of things. And when I go back and I look at that, I find humor in it, because he said that I was desperate trying to find votes. This election, I think, was very clear. I was not desperate in finding votes. Okay, somebody that was desperate, it was the other person. And that's not what today is about, because I think that we just need to realize that, you know, there's ways to do everything. There's ways to promote your agenda. There's ways to get your message across. There's really, I think Eagle Pass and Maverick County have already come to a point and a realization point of our citizens that we cannot just continue with what we have done and how we have handled it for so many years when it comes to media sources. So
Mhm.
I believe that, we're on track to changing, I think, even the concept of how media will work in Eagle Pass. But we will, it's a living issue that will be lived day to day, and we'll continue to see that evolve over, the years. And hopefully, we'll see how this issue gets better with time.
Well, moving on.
But I am extremely appreciative, and I'll reiterate that I'm extremely appreciative of the fact that, working together with you, working together with Mario, working together with, the Newsgram and the Business Journal, definitely we're all, great professional opportunities. We saw some experiences with other media that we definitely were purchasing advertisements where we didn't see exactly maybe the same treatment, but nonetheless, my thing was always, let's make sure that we get our message across to different, sites and to different people, because everybody has different segments of the population. So it was my thought process to say, I need to cover as many angles as possible.
Mhm.
And I knew for a fact that, there were issues along that process, but nonetheless, we continue to work with them, and just, hope that now that the current judge is out of the picture for the next race, we will see a more I'm not going to say easier, I'm going to say a better way to work with the media, uh, especially those that are not or well, let's just say those that were bought. I don't think that right now we'll be looking too much into that, but we'll just continue working with who we've worked with and continue assuring that the community gets the message.
Awesome, awesome. Now, looking forward to your race in November, you have a Republican candidate. That's something that
Hmm.
we're not used to saying here in Maverick County.
Hmm.
Um, Going forward, I mean, you kind of answered the question that I was wanting to ask: is that how are you going to treat this race? Of course, you have a first a new timer in politics coming in the Republican side for county judge. It's not necessarily a Saucedo that you're going to be, facing that's been there for as many years as he has. So, how are you looking to approach this election? And how do you feel? Do you know anything about your candidate opponent at this moment?
Oh, I've known about him since the Democratic primary. I mean, I do my research on all the candidates and everything since before time. I mean, I don't waste time on anything. I believe that, when you get into something, you have to make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. And you need to know the people that are obviously going to be challenging you in some way, shape, or form. My intention is to, like I said, to run this race as if I were, running against a very, strong incumbent. And this is exactly how I intend to move this race forward. I am not, going to sit back and just coast. I believe that you need to give the residents of this community the respect that they deserve, because when they go out and come out and mark their ballots in November, they need to know the commitment that you have. And my commitment has been, just as I have ran for mayor and I served in that capacity for well over 10 years, I gave the community that same respect, even when I had people whom, I felt were not a threat, but nonetheless, I still walked the streets. I still walked neighborhoods. I still visited with people. I had campaign meetings, to kind of make sure and touch bases with everybody. I believe that, it doesn't matter how strong or how weak a candidate may or may not be. Everyone needs to put in their 110% in order to make sure that the residents of this community realize what type of work ethic and passion comes with the candidates that are running, and how they will be able to make a difference based on their experience and based upon the abilities for them to move this community forward.
What kind of future projects, or what is it that you're looking at? Looking past the general election, being elected. What kind of? I mean, I know you mentioned that you would like to do an assessment first in the county, and go position by position, do different things of that sort. Check out the pay grades and what people are getting paid. I think that's one thing that you mentioned. But what is one thing that you want to go ahead and go ahead and start tearing your hands into, uh, maybe trying to fix a project that hasn't been done, or creating a new project that has been lacking for so much time? What's that one little, thing you have in the back of your head that you can't
Well,
wait to?
one thing, and I'll be very honest with you. Yesterday was it was right after the election, and I was already visiting with um, distinctive entities, to see what it is the issues were with the county, what we could do to try to assure that there were already movements in place in order to prepare for the next round two, as I call it. But more than anything, I've already started, working on a lot of things in order to make sure that we can move this community forward in the right direction. I believe that you have to be confident in what you can provide to the residents. You have to be confident in the service that you can provide as a leader. You have to have what is required in order to assure that you have the capability, to go out and look for funding, look for opportunities at the state and federal levels. And that's something that, I have always been very passionate about. So there's been a lot of calls, a lot of meetings that I've been doing these last 2 days, just to make sure that we can take this to another level during these next couple of months, and present, of course, to the voters what it is that we're doing, what it is that we're working on, and how we can assure a aggressive plan of action, given the opportunity to serve starting January 1 of 2023. I believe that, when given the opportunity to serve, I plan on presenting, something very aggressive within the first 100 days of office, in order to assure that this community will know what it is that we are going to be working on. There has to be a very aggressive plan to tackle issues on finance, on the budget for one. The budget right now for the County of Maverick is something that we need to revamp. We need to show its transparency. We need to look at ways that will be easy for our residents to understand where their money is going to and how it is being spent. And making sure that we can assure that the community members, or the members of this great city and county of ours, just know how the investment opportunities are with the County of Maverick. I think that we need to do a little bit more when it comes to the finances. We need to assure that we fully understand them, because the budget, in my opinion, and from what I have seen, and the studying of that budget for these past months, that we've been in process of the election, it's not clear. There's a lot of question. There is a lot of doubt, and I think that we're going to see a lot of things come out in this process to assure that that the next budget cycle, even though coming October is when they adopt a new budget, that we'll be able to maybe understand a little bit more as to what they're planning on. And mind you, that budget will be adopted by the current judge and his court. But nonetheless, we need to be involved in the process. People need to be involved in the process more than anything. I'm not speaking as a candidate, but the community needs to be involved in that process. So we're going to be seeing, obviously, some time and investment spent there. And when you invest in your budget, you're investing in your entire organization. So you will get some time to really kind of get your hands deep into all of the problems of Maverick County, whether it's personnel, whether it's equipment needs, whether it is infrastructure needs. There's a lot of topics, that during this campaign, we definitely heard from the voters during our times visiting the colonias, during our times talking to people. A lot of issues arose on security. And that is definitely something that I will be, running on and making sure that we continue to tackle that issue. I do believe that, we need to make the necessary evaluations of how the security measures are in this county and how we can make people feel safe again in this community. There are numerous people that brought that up on the campaign trail, and that's a priority for me as a county judge, as I am sure that it will be a priority for the Commissioner's Court as well. So we will need to work on those topics. We'll need to see how we can continue moving this county forward in the right direction and providing for the necessary measures to be taken to address the issues that were brought forth on the campaign.
One of the things you mentioned was transparency. Now, I think that is a very important thing, especially with the current past administration under Saucedo, where we had several of the commissioners complain about not being able to have sufficient information in their meeting packets, not being transparent as far as some of these budget movements, some of the things that the judge would put in, they would not see until the day of the meeting. Is that something that you might be changing the process of?
Completely. Let me tell you, if you recall, at the city of Eagle Pass, when I was there in office, that was one of the first things that we did, is we revamped the city secretary's department in order to make sure that transparency was key, especially when it came to agendas, where backup was provided with recommendations in order to move that process very smoothly for commissioners, for the community to be well aware as to the backup that's being provided to the court. And that way everybody is fully aware as to what's being presented. There's a lot of things that come out, a lot of issues, that I've seen in these past months, when it comes to warrants pending And in warrants pending, that's basically, and that's the portion of the agenda where you receive all of the payments that need to be made for the county. The court approves those payments, and it's unfortunate that the community doesn't get to see those in a transparent manner. Because if the community actually did see those in a transparent manner, um, I think many people would be very disappointed. The way that payments are being held, the way that people are getting paid. Um, and sometimes a lot of these things happen that way because of the simple fact that you have compadrismo. You have people who are connected to the court. You have people who are in some way, shape, or form, tied politically. And it shows you and it paints you a picture of what is really going on at Maverick County. And I think that, those are the first things that we're going to change to make sure that Maverick County is transparent and can do what it is that they, need to do as citizens, whether it's going to the website and clicking on, Commissioner's Court meeting for January 3rd, 2023.
Let me tell you how difficult that was to find an agenda on their website.
Yeah. That's the thing that, I would want to make sure that we would revamp as soon as possible because it's necessary. I was always, actually Del Rio, the city of Del Rio, when they run their agendas, they actually you can even go back and see how the commissioner or the council meetings were. You can see the video per agenda item. Yes. And that's something that, I always wanted Eagle Pass to do. It was a bit costly. So, we had to find, the ways to kind of budget that properly. But we were doing that towards the tail end of my career in the mayor's office. But unfortunately, I don't think that it did get through. I haven't checked the city agendas lately, but nonetheless, I know that it's something that we would like to accomplish. That way, it's easy for people to understand. If there's an agenda item that really they're only interested in, they can just go there and kind of tack off and see what it is that you're looking for and what happened, what action was taken by the court, and things of that nature. So transparency is going to be a strong part in this administration in working to get this county back on its feet and making sure that we can accomplish some greater things for the community.
Now, your opponent, he actually conceded to you via phone, or was this online on Facebook? Because let me tell you, I never saw that coming myself.
Mm-hmm. I never thought I would get a concession. He did not call me, but I did get the notification from a colleague of mine who was here that he was conceding on his Facebook Live account, and that's where pretty much he congratulated me and basically just conceded the race, and that's just the way that it is. And I as much as everything that has gone on with this race, I think right now, after all of the negativeness, after all of the lies, after all of the lack of respect for family members and things of that nature, I'm just eternally grateful that the community saw that. But I also take time to recognize that the community sent him back to office for 3 consecutive terms in that position. And I have to respect that because at the end of the day, it's the majority of the voters. So, I mean, I thank him for his service. I thank him for what, he claims that he accomplished. But I do believe that we, need to move forward now. We need to make sure that we have what is ready and what is in place for us to take on the next step. And as I've said, turn the page to to a new chapter for Maverick County. This is really what we need to be doing, and this is what we need to be focusing on right now in this community.
Absolutely. I mean, it seems that you're more than eager, and it seems that the rest of the commissioners' court that got voted in is eager to work together and come out with something that is different than what we're used to as a community, and something that is more positive in a way, being proactive about our community, rather than waiting until election times to start fixing things around, as we've grown accustomed to seeing on social media, on news, and stuff like that. How do you see yourself moving and transitioning into this role now? I think we have mentioned it before, the way you were a mayor and now coming into the county judge, it's a little bit bigger of a responsibility, but you do have a rather extensive background. So how do you see it going forward? Will you be able to juggle the same stuff? Because I know with the mayor, you did have an open door policy. People were able to stop by when you were in the city, come by and talk to you if anything was needed. Will that continue? Little things like that that make employees make
That to me is crucial, and it's important. When I was at the mayor's seat, in the mayor's office, I always left from 4 to 5 open to any individual that might just need to stop by and talk to me about anything. There was always a time frame. Obviously, I was working on other things, but if somebody stopped by or set up an appointment, we always made sure and had those appointments ready. So things, if it worked then, it'll work now. you know, I took that role very seriously when I was at City Hall. I will take this role even more seriously when given the opportunity. And I think that we need to just make sure that we have the right people in there that are going to go full force, that are going to actively, work towards working with state, federal agencies, even our international partners across, the border, trying to make sure that we're addressing all aspects of this community. I believe that, I have the experience, the capabilities, the working relationships, and that's something that's needed. Experience is crucial in this race. I think that, when you look at it and you see the abilities of, what we were able to accomplish, um, we position ourselves in a way that will definitely bring opportunity for Maverick County. I can't, begin to even mention the numbers of calls from people from around the region and throughout the state that have definitely they were very excited. There was a lot of people that were looking at this race outside of Eagle Pass and Maverick County
mm,
from other communities
interesting.
that were really excited with the change. And I think that shows something, that shows a lot that it was difficult to work with the current administration. It was difficult to get anything done. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the many years of relationships that we have formed with many elected officials, with many new elected officials that were elected that are taking a change for the region, for the Middle Rio Grande region. There was a lot of elected officials in the area that were either voted out or just didn't run. So it was seen region wide, that change was coming, and I think that now we'll continue to evolutionize the way that the thinking has been for so many years in this community.
Yeah.
I think that by giving an opportunity to somebody like me to serve in this capacity, and then having the abilities to have a great working relationship with the mayor, a great working relationship with the city, an excellent working relationship with the hospital district and all of the governing entities, here will definitely position us in a way for us to really see something happen in Maverick County. And that is where I'm excited. I am looking forward, when given that opportunity, and I know that we're going to continue to do great things. This was the hardest battle, I think. Right now, this was the hardest one. It was a hard fought race. I think our campaign was extremely organized, very well, versed on the issues. And the only reason we were able to do that is because we were out there with the voters, and we were out there very aggressively, at attacking the issues that needed to be addressed in our community. Um, so that's what will help me position myself, in that role, to answer that question, because of the mere fact that we've been involved. We have we have the experience, and the community, of course, has obviously shown in the numbers, and strength is always in numbers, that I am the most qualified and best candidate in this race to assure that we can move this community forward.
That's very comforting to hear. I know there's a lot of people out there that just, felt they needed a change. And, just judging by the comments that we're getting right now, there's several of them that are happy that you went on to be the winner of that race. I know it's Friday night. I don't want to keep you so long, but if there's anything final you'd like to say to the crowd that showed up to watch your first exclusive interview.
First exclusive. Well, it is the first exclusive one. No, the only thing that I can basically say is that I am forever grateful for the opportunity to have been elected, to have passed this great first round, moving on to the second. Preparing our plan of action for the opportunity to serve in January, but more than anything, getting ready for the next race, November 8th. This is something that for us will be very important. I ask the community to remain vigilant and to be involved as they were in this race, just as they were in the last. I can't tell you enough that I am forever grateful to the team that was formed, to work on this every day, the work that was done on a daily basis for this campaign. I had a great group of volunteers, and I'm proud to say they were volunteers, because thankfully that is what drove the daily aspect of this campaign. So, I want to thank everyone from one, of course, my family, because there was a lot of lashing there that went out specifically towards them, and I want to thank them for their support. My mother and father, of course, my sister Kimberly, who were there daily to put up with the craziness, but who were always very supportive in making sure that we could continue to move forward. There were people like Billy, who did an exceptional job on the work for our logistics in the campaign. Guille and Dario, who were exceptional as well, did a lot of work, a lot of time that were put into it. People like Marta, Sonia and Victor Perry, Ismael and all of his family, Castillo, they did an exceptional job. I'm very grateful to have had the support of the two commissioners, Olga Ramos and Roberto Ruiz, in this race. And I'm glad to see that, all is well there as well. Rick, of course, Ramos and Ruben, who did a lot of work and time into this. Alicia and Saul Flores, former Mayor Pro Tem Rudy Villalpando and his wife Elsa, Sally Sandoval, who was out there, every single day. People like Miss Lucy, who did such a great job, literally cheering on, daily. Brenda, Mirna, Carlos. I'm thinking at the top of my head here, of people, but I want them to know, all of them, that they did a great job. Tio Bob and Tia Marisela. I got to throw out all the shout outs to make sure that I cover all my bases. But I know like Connie, Christina, Ricky, Ruben and Ray. There were numbers and numbers of people. Jesse, Elsa, and Kathy, Adriana, Batres, Miss Sara, and Pepe, Ana Mireles, Brianna, Ariana. There were so many people that were working on this campaign, but they became what was a wonderful family, a wonderful group that got a message across to the people of this community. And I think that it's just awesome to see that when people come together, and unite, so much can happen and so much can change in a community simply because people are united. And we need to keep that unity for many other reasons, not just for campaigns, but to tackle the issues of these communities, to tackle issues in our respective precincts, and to keep our political leaders accountable and transparent more than anything. So I just, want to thank everybody. I thank every single voter that came out and voted in this election, not just the ones that voted for me, but the ones that voted for my opponent, because you all were part of the democratic process. And I hope that, I will be able to gain, the votes of those who voted against me in this next race in order to make sure that we move forward. There's a lot of things that have been said, a lot of things, especially at Maverick County, like, what is going to happen? Are people, going to lose their jobs and things of that nature? That's a huge worry right now for the employees. And, the message that I send to our employees at Maverick County is, a new judge will be elected. There will be new opportunities. There will be evaluations that need to be made. But we need to make sure that, my message to the employees is very clear. If you're doing your job, and you are committed to what you are supposed to be doing, don't worry. The issues here need to rely are based on the issues of, inefficient or wasteful spending. Mm-hmm. And that's where we need to be focusing on. I want the employees to be comfortable. And I can tell you one thing. I walked into the courthouse yesterday, and you could feel a different air in the courthouse. You could feel a sense of relief in the courthouse by people. Oh, wow. And that is something that, I want people to realize that we're here to work. We're here to make a difference. We're here to invest in our community, and we are here to change the things that have not been done in years. And it may not happen overnight, what we want to accomplish, but it will happen and things will get done. And with the support of the community and with community input and with, the involvement of our citizens, we're going to be able to take Maverick County to a whole other level than where it is right now. And I am excited. I am, very energized to, hopefully be given that opportunity come November and to truly take this county to that level that everyone deserves, to be a part of, and where we can all say our quality of life has been improved, will be improved, and many things will continue to be brought to Maverick County and this community.
I'm sure the whole community is looking forward to that. We want to thank you again for joining us. Ramsey English Cantu, Democratic nominee for Maverick County Judge. We really appreciate it again. I know you've joined us a couple of times, and we look forward to having you again leading up to the November election. And eventually, if you are elected in, we're going to be bugging you a little bit more often.
Don't worry, that's not a problem. And the only thing that I'll add on, Isaac, is that, here I'm pretty sure that there's, in preparation for November, our campaign headquarters will remain open between now and the November race, pretty much all the way, it'll, God willing, between that time frame. So we're going to be 37 weeks out here at the headquarters. Campaign headquarters will be open from 2:30 to 5 every day, specifically for public concern or anything that needs to be out there. We're located at 505 Quarry Street, here in front of the Maverick County Courthouse. And we, invite you all, if there's ever any questions, feel free to drop by between those time periods, or give me a call on my cell, 830-513-7321, so that we can have any conversations and move forward from there. But I want to thank everybody once again. I thank all those people that have sent messages. I think that I've reached out already pretty much. It's taken me about 3 days to get back to everyone, but know that, we're here, and we're here to serve the community of Eagle Pass and Maverick County.
All
And
right.
Quemado, Normandy, and El Indio. I can't forget about my peeps out there. So all of those people, everybody out there, we're here for y'all, and we're ready to serve.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and you have a good weekend.
Thank you. Likewise. The best to everyone.
Thank you. All right, guys. We had Ramsey English Cantu here, the Democratic nominee elected earlier this week to face the Republican candidate for Maverick County Judge. So this is kind of a big thing, being that for 3 terms we've had a judge, Saucedo, for a while. Now we are guaranteed a new county judge. Will it be Ramsey English Cantu, the Democratic nominee, or Armando Rosales, the Republican nominee for Maverick County Judge? Guys, thank you again for tuning in. We're looking forward to bringing you more and more podcasts. Be on the lookout for our announcements when we do have them. Also, be on the lookout for our news coming out daily, straight to your guys' Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. We also have a YouTube. Check that out as well. We have many videos already set. We have been doing this for about a year now, so we have quite a collection of interviews. And we're going to start expanding into a new branch of interviews that we will be conducting with local small business owners. So be on the lookout for that, guys. Once again, just a quick word from our sponsors. Viva Canine Dog Training, Grooming, and Boarding Center, 830-513-3523, because your furry friend deserves a good time. Visit Viva Canine Dog Training, Grooming, and Boarding Center. Guys, if you guys want to advertise with the Rising Texan podcast or the Rising Texan News, please send us a message. Give us a call. Our phone number is listed on our Facebook page. We are ready to take on any kind of advertisement that you guys have for small businesses, events, political races. We're open to everybody and can find a working budget for any business, any person, or anybody interested in advertising with the Rising Texan News. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. If you want to make a direct donation to the Rising Texan, you can do that with a Cash App, $, the Rising Texan Media. Again, Cash App is the Rising Texan Media. If you want to, guys, send us a donation, we really appreciate that. If not, please go support our sponsors. Our sponsors is what supports us, so we appreciate that. If you like watching our show, please go out and support our sponsors. Again, guys, this is not the last you heard of us. We'll be around. We'll be looking into interviewing several of the Democratic nominees, several of the Republican nominees as we lead into this November election. And we're also, as I mentioned before, going to start a new branch of our podcast where we bring you small business owners into our podcast and let us know what you guys are cooking up in the small business sector of Eagle Pass, Maverick County. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. I'm Isaac Reese. This was a Rising Texan podcast. We're out. Have a nice night.